Alright, we're here, came to Mom and Dad's. We're going to put the heater in today. Our little diesel heater that we picked up, which I've already done the unboxing of it. I'll link to that video here as well. We have to make some modifications to the camper in order to do that. I'll show you that. So this is our existing electric heater, which we can't use. So that's going to come out, and we're going to mount the diesel heater right there. It'll be more level, and it's got a diverter to blow the air up. So that's where the unit's going to sit. This model can sit on its side, so we'll be good there. So in order to run that vented outside, I've got to move this power cord reel, which we're probably going to take this off and just tuck it in the side for now. I've got to put the fuel tank back here, and we're going to reroute this around to the other side of the camper. Everyone, we need to make another plate. This plate is where the heater attaches to. Normally you would have it on the base on the floor and it would just go down and through. We are mounting it on its side, the side that we can mount it on, and mounting it inside the camper here on this plate, and then we need another plate on the outside to match up with it so that everything comes through the same way and doesn't dangle. This plate will allow, the two plates will allow the hoses to come through properly so that there's nothing touching anything combustible with the exhaust line. I just found out that this, I have to mount it on the other wall over here because the ignition plug here has to be upright when you're mounting it in. Either this way or this way. So for that wall over there, I would have had to put it this way, and the ignition plug would have been down. So what we're going to do is mount it on this wall here, about 8 inches back and about 3/4 of the way up. And then we're going to put the tank, the fuel tank is going to go on the driver's side of the vehicle. So we've run around to 3 different hardware stores looking for a piece of ready rod, all thread, to use as a stud to go through the wall of the camper and into the heater, because the studs they give you are just way too short. You can't find metric ready rod at any of these stores. So metric bolt, it's a 6mm by 50mm long. Hopefully that's long enough, but I'm sure it will be. But we'll find out. There we go. The mounting plate is in on the inside. We cut the holes through for the air intake and the exhaust pipe to go through. The fuel pipe will come in through here. And we have a duplicate plate for the outside just for support. And here's the mounting plate on the outside. Give us some extra support. And we're gonna zip off the ends of the bolts here because they're just too long. Heater's mounted on the inside, good and solid, not going to go anywhere. All the lines are through on the outside. All we need to do now is run the wiring and the hoses. Okay, here was a tricky one. The fuel tank, we got a fitting for it. It was in a bag inside the fuel tank. No holes in the tank, because obviously you've got a spot over here and a spot over here that you could mount it depending on how you mount the tank. So you need to drill a hole in here in the bottom, fish the line, fish the fuel line through, pull it out the top, and put the inside O-ring, because there's an O-ring for either side, put the inside O-ring over top of that, and then stick this fitting on the hose, and then draw it back through the hole that you drilled, and that will allow you to get it back through the hole. That one took a little bit of brainstorming, and it just now seems like it just should have been a no-brainer. Okay, got the fuel line on. It runs underneath the camper. I'll tack it up in there so it doesn't move anywhere tomorrow. And over here we got the pump and the filter. I'm going to buy a project box to put on that. And this wire here is for the pump. And everything's running up into here. Exhaust coming out. Tacked down with we used a fitting, a nipple, so that we could keep it away from the wall so that it wasn't getting too hot there. Air intake tied up in there. Oh, going out of focus. And there we have that. And I'll get a box to cover all that just to keep it out of the weather. And the pump's all in here, mounted nice and solid. Got to hook the wiring up tomorrow. This is the wiring down here for the pump. Everything else is going to come down here, run along the bottom of the floor, up and into the battery box. And the thermostat will go up on the wall there. That's tomorrow's project.
So I put half a tank of diesel in here just so I could double check. And there's no drips, not wet anywhere, not sweating anywhere, so we're good.
Okay, back for day 2 of this heater install. Today all I have to do is extend the electrical so that I can get up to where the power connection is at the front of the camper. Positive and ground both need to go there. Mount the thermostat up on the wall, and mount this diverter on the front of the heater with this, just a little bit of this pipe. I don't want it to be 8 miles out. So that's all we have to do today. Picked up the diesel this morning, filled up the tank halfway, make sure it had no leaks, and we'll get it all primed up and ready to go, and hopefully it works. Okay, everything's hooked up. Ran the electrical up over here into the box. I'm not going to show you the mess I have under there because that's a disaster. It's all hooked up on the outside, all hooked up on the inside. I'll put the thermostat up on the wall after, but we're going to do a run test here. So I attempted to run this thing to get it to prime. Found the directions online, which were helpful, but it's not working. It's giving me the error code that tells me that the pump isn't working. So we check power at the line, we turn the unit on, there's power to the pump, and the pump isn't working. So right now we're going to just hook power directly to the pump and see if it works. If not, I'm going to have to buy another pump. That sucks. There it is, the culprit. Not working, and it's disappointing. So we will have to get a new pump. Already checked on Amazon. There are pumps available, but we're definitely not going to be able to find one this week. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to contact the seller, see if they can get us one, but for the time being, it's all installed, ready to go, just need a working pump. Stay tuned. Okay, so here's what I have discovered. I was reading the wrong section of directions. There's so many different configurations for the thermostat and the controller, and I found the right one. I got the pump all primed and everything. It's all good. I've had it running already. So this is just a I had to let it cool right down. So now it's cooled right down, hopefully it'll start back up again and I can show you what's happening here. So we go here, turn it on, and we go here, go into automatic mode, set for 19 degrees. Let's pump it up to 20 Celsius. You can see right now it says that it's 8 in here. Now it is warming up the burn chamber with the glow plug. That takes it a couple of minutes. So what I'm going to do now is just pause it at this point. Take a couple minutes, and I don't think you want to watch that. I don't know if you can hear it now. The pump is going. Yeah, it's starting to ramp up. And away she goes. Last time I had it running, it was definitely blowing really warm air within a couple of minutes. I'm going to step back outside right now. So I've got everything closed up, I'm inside. I'm going to step back outside, let you see and hear the pump and the exhaust. You can see it's not too terribly loud. And then I'll come back in here and see how it's warming up. Now, here you can hear the pump. It's dark out. And the exhaust, not too loud. Definitely warm to the touch, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on it where it's coming through. But let's go back in and see how she warms up. It's been running for a couple of minutes now. It's definitely blowing warm air. Can definitely feel the difference in here already. My only concern is where the exhaust pipe comes out through the side of the camper, because it is going past the wood, although I did cut the hole considerably bigger, which is part of the reason I used the 2 plates, one on the inside, one on the outside, just to give it a little bit of extra meat to grab hold of when we mounted it. So it's good and firmly mounted. It's not bouncing around or anything. Good and solid. And just keep a really close eye on it for the first few times that we use it. I'll be investigating it as we go here. So I've got the whole week, and we may go camping this weekend. Very happy that it's working. There's my solution to cover the pump and filter until I get the proper box. I notched out a couple of holes for the hose and screwed a pail on the side. And from the back, it doesn't block the light. And there you have it. I put the thermostat up on the wall towards the back door. There's the window, there's the door. Put it up on that wall, ran the wire down here into the unit where everything comes in at the bottom. So far so good. I have it set for 10. It's got me at 15 right now, but it is definitely slowing down. I'm waiting to see if it's going to shut off or not, but it has slowed down. The fan was really giving her for a while there. And there we go. I have put a small piece of the hose on the front and the diverter so that I can point it up away from the floor and a little bit over towards where our heads will be. And that should be a good setup for us. Very excited to try this out this weekend coming up. We're definitely going camping. So I've got everything all installed now. Thermostat's in, put the diverter on the front so that it's not blowing hot air under the bed and cooking our dogs in the middle of the night. Everything seems to be working really well. I had it on auto set for 10 and it's now 17 in here. I don't know if that's an issue with the thermostat. It's registering the temperature. It wasn't until I turned it off that it started cooling down, and it took a good 5 minutes for it to cool down and shut off, but that's to be expected. So I'll have to look a little deeper and see what's going on with the auto. Maybe it's me. Given my issues with the pump, it's probably me. I had some questions that people were asking when we were talking about the unboxing and such, so I'm going to run through those questions right now. There's only 3 of them. First question is there a smell? Being a diesel heater, yes, but only on startup and only coming out the exhaust outside. Once the burn chamber got good and hot and it was burning nice and clean, I could barely smell any diesel, and I'm around diesel fumes all the time, so I would definitely recognize it. So can barely smell it. No smell inside. If that was the question, there is no smell coming from the diesel heater on the inside because it's not using outside air to heat up inside, and it's not burning inside air. It's drawing air from outside to burn and warm up in the chamber, and then it's just circulating air inside the camper here. That's all it's doing, is just circulating the air and heating it. So it warms up really quickly. And no, there's no smell. That's a bonus. Next question is, why diesel over propane? This could go two ways. I'm not quite sure how this question was meant. First off, if you're thinking a small propane Mr. Buddy heater, they work great. They throw lots of heat, but they throw lots of moisture. And the last thing we want in this camper is more moisture. We already have a condensation problem and an icing up problem that we're trying to address now, which we're hoping that this heater will help address. We're going to leave the vent cracked open here just a smidge and let that warm, moist air come out. But if you're talking about a forced air RV furnace, I just don't have the room in here to put that. We have very limited room, and it's not worth it. So the diesel heater won out over that. And the last question I got was, is diesel cheaper than propane? No, diesel is not cheaper than propane. Right now, diesel in Alberta is on par with gasoline. We're paying $1.31 per liter of diesel. But I'm not going propane because of the two reasons I just stated. So it'll cost us a little bit more, I'm sure. But this thing, the way it's such a small space, I mean, we're talking 8 feet by 7 feet. That's it. You know, like under 60 square feet of space. There's not much room to fill up in here. And it's only, it might be 5 feet high in the back. I don't even think it's that. I think it's about 4.5 feet high in the back. So there's not much volume. So it's not going to cost us a whole lot. If we were heating a bus with this, yeah, it would get pricey. And we are doing a bus conversion in the future. We definitely want to be living in a bus in the future, but right now we're not worried about that. I hope that answers the questions. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll gladly try and answer them if I can. If I can't, I'll make something up. There we go. Anything, let me know.